Solo, a Star Wars movie, is about a young Han Solo who, through various events, ends up joining a crew to steal this material that is very unstable and worth a lot of money. And the material is what drives a lot of the character development and character motivation, and is sort of the MacGuffin, if you will. First off, can I say I love Alden Ehrenreich in this movie. His snappy comebacks and his snarky attitude was so great to watch on screen, and his interactions with each character and his enthusiasm to be the best pilot was very well done, and most importantly, lovable. Now, notice how I worded that first sentence. The thing is, while his acting was good and everything that I watched on screen was very fun and very interesting to watch, I found it hard to imagine him as Han Solo that we all love and know. And sure, some things he did say and some things he did do were very Han Solo-ish, but I think the problem is that he was trying to be Han Solo of the future instead of Han Solo of the past. And I think that's what was wrong with this sort of young Han Solo portrayal. Now, speaking of betrayals, there was a love interest in this movie, and I don't know why. I don't know why this love interest is in this movie. Emily Clark plays Kira, or Quira, or Quira, I don't know how to say her name. And I'll be brutally honest, I thought she was a shitty character. She was a horrible character. Her scenes were very lackluster, and every scene she was in, her acting and the way she portrayed her character and the way she came off was that she didn't want to be there. She didn't want to be in this movie. She didn't want to be in this scene. She didn't want to be there at all. So that was the problem. And even acting aside, every single time she was on screen, her motivations, and she just wasn't even a good character. She just felt unnecessary to the story, and I don't know why she was in there. And unfortunately, this is what drives Han Solo through most of the movie, is this character. And when you have this character that does not work at all, and she's a bad character, the acting is uninteresting, and everything about this character that she does on screen is uninteresting, and we have that drives the story and the main character, that kind of dulls the movie and kind of ruins the movie, I guess you could say. And unfortunately, that's what it did. It kind of ruined all the scenes she was in, and I think they could have found a different reason to get Han Solo off that planet and a different drive for Han Solo, and it would have made the movie a lot better and a lot more enjoyable. And unfortunately, that wasn't the only character that had problems. Next up, we have L3, and oh my god, this is probably the most horrible character in Star Wars next to Jar Jar. That's how bad this character was. This character was constantly spouting equal rights for robots and the Me Too type of stuff. You see that is very cringy, I guess you could say. And it was just, she was annoying. So when she finally died, thank God she died, because she was just that annoying, you felt zero attachment. You felt no attachment to her. You felt no emotion. It didn't hit you at home. Nothing. So when she died, you didn't care. Now, Lando's, reaction, you felt for Lando. That's the strange thing. You felt for Lando for his loss, but you didn't feel for the actual character that died, which is actually kind of funny. Now, speaking of Lando, he is my favorite character. He's very, as they say in the trailer, charismatic, and his banter with Han Solo was so priceless and had a lot of people in the theater laughing. And honestly, I want to see more of this character in this universe. And I'm hoping we will see him if there is a sequel, because as you know, if you've seen the movie already, they end it on Han Solo actually saying that there's this big job. So I expect to see more of this young Han Solo Star Wars universe, I guess you could say. Now, last up on this list is Chewie. I love this character too. I loved everything that he did in this movie. And let me say that I loved their meeting. Their meeting was one of the probably best scenes in the movie, I guess you could say, because you never really understood. Because I'm not a big Star Wars fan, I'll admit that. I don't go out and read the comics and read the backstory of all the characters. I'll watch the movies, don't get me wrong, but I'm not one of those, people who go out and read the comics and stuff. So I didn't know the backstory of Han Solo and Chewie. So when I got I'm not sure if that was the actual backstory or that was just something made up for the movie, but it worked out very well and was very funny and just interesting to watch on screen. And another thing they actually did was actually explained how Han could actually understand Chewie, which a lot of characters in movies, they don't really explain it, like how Groot and Rocket Raccoon can understand each other. They don't really explain that, but in the movie they explain that Han Solo knows how to speak Wookiee, which is very interesting because how would that even work? Because isn't his voice just gurgles? Now, this movie has a lot of suspense and surprises, and a lot of times you'll think they're going to be doing one cliche moment, but then they end up doing some other kind of moment, and it was very interesting. Now, this is most representative in near the end of the movie where Beckett actually betrays Han Solo. You think he's gonna do one thing. You think Han Solo's in trouble, but then it turns out Han Solo is actually betraying Beckett. So it was like a sort of double cross, which I love those movies. Those are always great to see on screen, and you don't really see them in movies too much, actually, now I think about it. You see a lot of betrayals, but you don't see a lot of double cross. I also loved how they explained how Han Solo actually knew who Beckett was going to betray him, because earlier in the movie, Chewie and Beckett were actually playing that board game. Beckett says that he was predictable. And this also coincides with what Beckett said to Han Solo, is, how he says, you don't trust anyone and you will never be, disappointed when they betray you. So those two combined, Han Solo sort of figured out what he was going to do. So it makes sense, and I really love that. I hope they actually do that more in movies, because the double crossing is one of my favorite aspects of movies when they do that. Now, this movie has a runtime of 2 hours and 15 minutes, and honestly, it felt like there was stuff missing. There was definitely something weird going on with the pacing, because when you first get to the first scene in the movie where they're on that planet, at the end of that scene, you don't really feel like there's a smooth transition, because you'll skip to that scene where they're escaping, and then he gets that scene in the trailer where he says, I'm gonna be the best pilot ever, and then you skip to him in a war, and you're like, wait, what happened? There was something missing. Some scene was missing, which honestly, this happens a lot in Star Wars lately, because in The Force Awakens, there was definitely some kind of transition or some kind of story arc for Luke Skywalker, because he went from wanting to save Darth Vader. Darth Vader killed children. You don't go from being that kind of sympathetic towards villains to wanting to kill your freaking nephew. And just because you had this feeling that there was something dark growing inside, no, you wanted to save Darth Vader, and you don't want to save your family that you are just getting a feeling of a dark side thing. That's just, I don't understand why they did that. But moving on aside, this isn't a Force Awakens review. This is a Han Solo review. So moving on to Han Solo, the pacing of the movie really didn't feel too good. It definitely happened 2 or 3 times, and honestly, a lot of stuff that was happening on screen was very interesting to watch, so I may have not caught more of the pacing problems, but there was most likely more, because correct me if I'm wrong, there was actually some problems with the movie. There was 2 directors, and they changed directors, and there was a lot of problems throughout the production of the movie, and there was, as a lot of people say for the DCU, more than one cook in the kitchen, and when that happens, the food is ruined when there's more one cook in the kitchen. So I think that's what happened. This is a result of having more than one director, and I think that's what brought the movie down, and I really wish they didn't have more than one director or more than one cook in the kitchen, because I think this movie would have been extremely good if they didn't do that. But while the movie had its problems, it still kept me in suspense and kept me interested in these characters. While it's not the best Star Wars movie, it is a pretty decent and solid Star Wars movie. It doesn't suck by any means, but it does have problems. And I'm giving Solo, a Star Wars movie, a 7.5 out of 10. And I am gonna say, I honestly, guys, I don't think you should honestly see this in theaters. I think you should wait until it comes out on DVD. It's for sure, it's worth buying on DVD. Don't get me wrong. I would definitely buy it. I am gonna buy it on DVD, but I don't think it's worth seeing in theaters, because based on previous Star Wars movies, they have done things a lot better. So I would wait until it comes out on DVD. And that's it for this review. And this review was sort of a scripted review, yet not scripted at the same time, because I do have a script up on the screen right now. And I sort of flowed off of that, but didn't 100% rely on it to get my words and my thoughts out. So tell me if you like this better, because I know when I talk about movies, I sort of get lost in my opinions and get a little bit excited, I guess you could say. You can tell in the previous review how I was getting really excited and kind of angry about the L3 thing. So if you like this sort of review of more of off of rails, on rails type of thing, tell me in the comment section below, and tell me your thoughts on Han Solo. Did you think it was a good Star Wars movie or not? And did you think L3 was on Jar Jar levels? Because oh my god, that robot was so annoying. I'm glad she died. I'm glad she died. I was ready to cheer in the theater when she died. And that's it for this review. See you next time here on Movie Planet News, and have a good one. Alright guys, that will do it for this review of Han Solo, a Star Wars movie. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and leave a like down below. And also share your thoughts with other people who comment in the comment section. And as always, have a good one.